What's up, people? Tony here, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews. And today we are on episode 159. Yeah, it's like we're getting closer and closer to that 200th episode. It's hard to believe that we're already almost to episode 160 at the same time as well, people. So crazy stuff are happening on the channel, definitely. And today I have another multi-part review for you all, and this is episode 159, part 1 of 4. And today I want to talk about the racing genre. Those of you who play video games like with the Super Nintendo, PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, PC, and all of them have played at least one racing game in your life. Whether it's like off-road racing like Test Drive Off-Road or Off-Road Challenge, or street racing like Need for Speed, or racing in general like Test Drive or so, or whatever, you've played it, you have done that. I myself am a fan of a lot of racing game franchises like Ridge Racer, which was arcade racing, Gran Turismo, Need for Speed. Well, Need for Speed before they started becoming the Fast and Furious, rather than making them more like Fast and Furious instead of something like that. But still, they were good, and also Burnout, and more and more and more. And I also remember on the Nintendo systems playing F-Zero and Mario Kart, and also playing on the PlayStation Speed Punks and Crash Team Racing, and also on the PlayStation 3 of Mod Nation Racers and stuff. But for today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the futuristic racing genre. And what I mean by that is like it's a racing genre with like futuristic vehicles, and you drive them along the race, try to win the race in the futuristic style. And there have been a lot of futuristic racing games. Mainly those of you who played games back then probably know the F-Zero franchise or so. But there is one series that pretty much started my love for this franchise, the genre, or whatever. And if it weren't for this franchise, I don't think racing would be as big as it's today with futuristic style. And that series we're going to talk about is the WipEout series. And this will be broken into 4 parts. These games are by Psygnosis, people who made G-Police and more and more and more. But and also Colony and Wars and stuff too. But we're going to be talking about the WipEout series, being 4 parts, like I said. Part 1, we're going to look at WipEout. Part 2, WipEout XL, Part 3, WipEout 3, and Part 4, WipEout Fusion for the PlayStation 2. We have a lot to talk about here, so let's get started. We're talking about the original WipEout for the PlayStation, and this is the only long box case that has a slipcase for it. You can tell this is the Japanese cover, this is the American cover. So we're looking at WipEout for the PlayStation, released for the PlayStation and the PC, and more in 1995 by Psygnosis. And I gotta say, for the start of a great futuristic racing franchise, WipEout delivers definitely. WipEout 95 is what they call it, because there was a remake called WipEout 2008, but WipEout HD, whatever you call it. But WipEout, the original WipEout, definitely delivers on many levels. It does have some problems, and the game has not aged well compared to its successors, but for its time, yeah, WipEout was awesome, and it was definitely worth owning your collection of PlayStation games, especially if you're a collector for the long box games and stuff too. Now, there is no story for WipEout. There's no story because it is a racing game, and a lot of racing games don't really have stories unless it's like Crash Team Racing or Mod Nation Racers or so, or F-Zero or GX or so, then yeah, it's gonna have a story, but this game does not, because it's just straight out racing, and that's what they were going for. When you start a game here, you can choose between your 1-player or 2-player, or pick a racing class, Venom or Rapier, which comes a lot from being Venom, and you have 3 modes: Championship Race, Single Race, and Time Trial. The footage you see is from the Championship, and you have 4 teams to choose from: AG Systems, Aviracom, Querex, and Phasar. I'm going to be doing the AG Systems because they're the most balanced type of the team, and I'll be playing as racer number 1, John Deca. And then we get started here into the race, and here's where the game starts. As you can see here, it's simple futuristic racing, but it does have its flaws though. When you get started, we'll talk about that later on though, and when you get started with the race here, the game is fast. The game's graphics look great for a launch title, and still hold up well to this day. Sure, they may look a little bit blocky, the vehicles and stuff like that, but it's not really that much of an issue where they're so blocky. I mean, like, they do have a lot of texture and detail into them, and I gotta say that they look really good for its time. I mean, like, the vehicles look great, the backgrounds are very colorful and bright, and got great lighting, even when it's dark out too, because they have lights on like the track you're racing on. And the frame rate is smooth throughout the whole time as well. It has a big sense of speed. Even when it speeds up, your vehicle speeds up when you get hit. There's like no dip in the frame rate whatsoever, and the frame rate is just very smooth. And just to say, like, it had like the graphics do its job. I mean, sure, they may not look as great as they do before, but they still do stand up to this day because it's futuristic racing at its finest, and that's what they wanted there, definitely. For sound, there's not really much to say except for like the announcer that goes 3, 2, 1, or rocket, mines, speed boost, or shockwave, or so, and so that's pretty much the only voice acting there is. For music, you got licensed tracks, which I cannot play because I don't want to get a copyright strike or whatever, so I was unable to play the music. So there's a soundtrack there's got music by the Chemical Brothers and more and more and more, so it definitely has that racing feel to it and stuff, the music definitely. But now we got into the gameplay here, and this is where some of the game's problems come to life here. But first we'll talk about the good parts here. But for the gameplay here, you have 6 tracks to race on, 7 if you count the Rapier class racing like that, and you have 6 tracks to race on, and they're all very, very tough and fun to play on. I mean, sure, it's tough the fun way and stuff for the most part, I'll say there. And you basically just go around racing to the finish to try and get in 3rd place or better. And be sure you do get in 3rd place or better because you only have 3 lives, and if you run out of lives, or if you come in last place like at the beginning or so like that, or like last place at the end, I mean to say, and it's game over for you, no features, nothing. You only have 2 lives there. It says you have 3, but if you try to restart the race, so after you have 1 life left, it's game over. For some reason they do that, I don't know why, which is a little weird there, but still, I'm not them. But still, it's just simple fun racing at its finest there, and it's just basically for fun futuristic racing there. It showed what the PlayStation was capable of and took advantage of that, definitely. But I gotta get to the complaints here, and there's some big ones. First off, the gameplay has not aged well at all compared to these successors. One of the main complaints I have about the game is that when you hit a wall or so, or hit the side, it stops your progress and it slows you down completely. And this is just weird because it just stops you so much to where you'll come from 1st to 4th place or 1st to 5th place in a matter of seconds, and that's really, really, really frustrating there. And also the opponent AI is just unbalanced at times too. 1 minute you'll be first taking the lead, and then all of a sudden they'll just gang up on you and you'll be dropped out of 1st place, and that's just a problem that I have. And also with the items, you have items you can pick up too to shoot your opponents like that, or hit your opponents with and stuff. But you have to be in the dead center to get the items and stuff like that, or else because if you don't land on the spots right in the middle at that exact spot, you don't get the item, and that's very frustrating, especially when you're in last place or so. But it's not a bad game, it's just that some of these problems should have been ironed out, and there would have been room for improvement, definitely. And just I wish that these problems were ironed out more, because it would definitely be just as great as Ridge Racer like that. I mean, it's still going to get a good rating, but just that with these problems there, it does affect the game, definitely. And aside from those modes like that, there's not really much else. I mean, sure, there is multiplayer, but you need a link cable to use the multiplayer, and what I mean is, you must connect 2 PlayStations to use the multiplayer. And that is a problem there, because what if you just want to play head-to-head like normal? You can't, because you gotta connect the link cable and the book cable and stuff like that, and it just doesn't work. But that's just me, though. Those are just the problem I have with the game, but if you can look past those, you got yourself a great game, definitely. So my final thoughts here are, if you want some futuristic racing, and you like racing in general, and you want some taste of it on the PlayStation, this is the way to go, definitely. Due to the complaints I have with this game, I'm going to be taking off some points here, but it's not going to get a super low score. It's going to get a decent score of a 7.5 out of 10. It's the best score I can give it because there was room for improvement to be made there, definitely. And that's it for episode 159, part 1 of 4. Next up, we got the sequel, WipEout 2097, also known as WipEout XL for the PlayStation, released by Psygnosis once again. How does this game fare? Find out next, which all I gotta say, if you like what you see here, subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and don't forget to join my Discord group, TTBurger Gaming Tonight, which is always looking for more people to join. The link is in the description below, so click on it if you want to join my group and talk to me. If you have requests of that, just comment down below as well. But it's a permanent link this time, so it won't go away for 24 hours, so. And you click on it as many times as you want as well, so if you're interested in checking it out. Which all I gotta say, this is Tony, peace out, have a great day, and see you all in episode 159, part 2 of 4.